Hey everybody, it's James. It's Pockets Garage. I just wanted to jump on here and seen Elon put a new list of more uh, money that they canceled being paid out for frivolous, crazy stuff. So instead of making a video and editing it, I just figured I'd do a quick live and just kind of give my opinion on some of this stuff. They say Elon and them are not transparent, but it seems like they continuously put out a new list of stuff that they found, and they ain't hardly any of them arguing about what they're wanting to stop. Now they're arguing about stuff that they're claiming they're stopped that really isn't. So it's just kind of like the Democrats have no real argument, so they're just flipping in the wind on what they're trying to do. So anyway, so I just wanted to get on here and I just wanted to talk about the newest list of the stuff that's been canceled, which is saving us money. Uh, so I'll just go down this little list real quick. And so this is just money this just since the weekend added to the long list that's already been going. Every day they keep adding to this list. And for people that's arguing that it's less than 1% of the national budget, well, you know what? Just listen to the dollar amounts and see. It's like if this money is already allocated and it's already in our budget and we got it, they need to put it to local U.S. citizens to use this money for whatever, North Carolina, California, homeless veterans, whatever. And then when the new budget is made, they just need to cut it out because we can't afford this stuff anyway. Yeah, the Epstein list is coming. They're slow rolling Cash Patel, but as soon as he gets confirmed, then that'll happen. So let me go through this list real quick. Like I said, I just figured I'd jump on here instead of making a video. I just throw it on here live real quick. First one, $10 million to Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcision. Voluntary medical male circumcision for the country of Mozambique. $10 million. Seriously? All right, so this next one, $9.7 million. Now it's saying it's going to U.S. Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. So basically, they want to have U.S. Berkeley show Cambodian youths how to run a business. Why do we care? Won't they do that to the youth here in America? $9.7 million. I'll continue. $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. What does that even mean? All these titles is just word salad. Downright word salad. I mean, you think Kamala Harris came up with these titles that they're just throwing on these programs just to be spending money. This got to have some serious kickback to somebody. This shit don't make no sense. But I'll continue. $32 million to Prague for Civil Society Center. Prague, a civil society center. $32 million to build a center over there for civil society. As far as I know, Prague is already a civil society. They're not a third world country, so it's $32 million. Money we can't afford to spend. This is why our deficit is as high as it is. But I'll continue. So $40 million for gender equality and women empowerment hub. Gender equality and women empowerment hub. $40 million. What does that even mean? I, I'll continue. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. Once again, what does that even mean? Public procurement in Serbia, $14 million. But all this money's been stopped now. So this is all money being saved now. Going back into our kitty, our bank, whatever you want to call it. This next one, whew, $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million more for inclusive and participatory, political process in Moldova, along with $21 million more for voter turnout in India. So $486 million, $22 million, and $21 million they've got all wrapped up in this one program for Moldova and India for their elections. Why are we getting involved with their elections? And why are we spending that much money? It's almost like we're trying to put people we want in power there to spend $486 million. That's like money they spent here for campaign for here. Why are we spending that in a foreign country? It's nuts. I mean, if you add the 22 and the 21 million, that's $43 million. Okay, so that puts that way over $500 million, $500 million to butt into somebody else's elections. Does that sound like CIA? Sounds like CIA to me. I'll continue. $29 million for strengthening the political landscape for Bangladesh. Do we really give a shit about strengthening the political landscape in Bangladesh? $29 million. Once again, it sounds like we're trying to put in place people we want in power there. It's like we're buying elections for foreign countries with money we can't afford to spend. They'll spend all this money for everybody else but here. But we know this. I'll continue. $20 million for fiscal federalism for Nepal. In Nepal. Fiscal federalism. I'll get it right one of these days. For Nepal, $20 million. I mean, listen to the amount of money. And these people want to argue, well, it's not even 1% of the national budget. Jesus Christ, what else are we spending money on that don't need to be spent? I haven't seen the total yet, and I know they got a total out there, but I haven't seen the list yet. Like all this stuff, all the stuff before this, and all the stuff I'm listing now, just stuff since over the weekend. I'm going to find the total. Matter of fact, I know where the total is. It's in the debt clock. I'll tell you, I'll go look at that real quick because I think I got the debt clock up, and it'll tell you what D.O.G.E is saving us right now up to this point. But let me continue. So we got $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. Not only are we investing $20 million in their fiscal federalism, we're investing $19 million in their biodiversity conservation. What the hell does that even mean? Doesn't all this sound like word salad? It's like they're just attaching these weird names to stuff so they can write a check. I'll continue. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. Don't they think they need to work on voter confidence in this country instead of spending $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia? It's dumb. I'll continue. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. Social cohesion. Once again, what does that even mean? I'm going to have to get in the dictionary and try to figure out what. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I mean, they are, but you think you're being pranked when you hear these titles, these purposes, and the amount of money that they're spending for these purposes. You think you're being pranked. The sad thing is this: you're not. This is real. Thank God they stopped it. They canceled. This is money being canceled. This is money being saved. So that was $14 million. Now, next, I'll continue. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in Southern Africa. Once again, sounds like we're butting into somebody else's political arena or atmosphere or whatever you want to call it. Sounds like we're trying to put people in place that are CIA wants in place. Once again, we're butting in to other people's elections. Didn't Russia just accuse us of that a couple of years ago? And they bad Putin, bad, lying about America. America don't butt in. Russia's butting into, they made a big deal about Russia doing the Facebook ads, trying to interfere with the U.S. elections for misinformation. Sounds like we're doing the same thing and spending a lot of money doing it. But I'll continue. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Isn't Asia's test scores higher than ours? Aren't they higher up on the list? Because I think we're like at 23 in the world or something, or man, we may be worse than that. I think we're like 23rd, and it depends on what subject. I'm talking overall 23rd, but I think we're dead last, like in math. So, but we're going to spend $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. When we have students all over this country can't pass basic test scores or tests for their grade level. I'm telling you, the more they do that fake outrage against the unelected individual that's finding this stuff and saying they're not being transparent, when I'm reading a list that sounds pretty transparent to me. Yeah, Rosie, they wasted a lot of money. And I'll tell you how much so far that the D.O.G.E has found here in a minute, total. But I got one more. This is kind of a weird one too. So the last one on the newest list, $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities of Kosovo, Roma, Ashkali, and Egypt. I don't think I'm smart enough to even know what all that's all word salad. They made this title as long as possible to make it look like they're doing something really important to spend that $2 million on. When once again, it sounds like they're butting into other people's economic and political arenas. Satan is always butting into everyone's business, probably why they call America the Great Satan. Yeah, but that true, but I said this in my live stream yesterday. America is not well. Like when you have something wrong with you and you have to have an operation or something, and you go to the hospital, and what they got to do to cure you is painful. So the cure is almost as painful or more painful than what is wrong with you. But you got to go through that. So at the end of it, you're healed and you feel better than you ever did, hopefully. So we got to have some tough conversations in this country. This shit here has got to stop. Thank God it's stopping. And the Dems are fighting it every step of the way. And behind closed doors, some of the Republicans are too. Because all these people have to be getting portions of this money and kickback money. Have to. Or else because they vote on how much they're going to give this department. They vote on how much U.S. aid is going to get. And then it's up to U.S. aid to disperse this money out to these programs. When we know these titles are just bogus, because Elon Musk has already said that they have no way of tracking the checks once they're written and they're gone, because they're not listing it in the byline of the check stub that you have in your accounting. You know how it is. You have an accounting book and you got the check, you write it, and you got to write in the information what the check's for, and you rip it out and you mail the check out or whatever. That's standard business 101. If you had a business and you got audited and you ran your accounting the way this department has run their accounting, you'd either be in jail or you'd owe the government a shit ton of money. A shit ton. You'd probably be in jail because they'd probably try to claim you fraud. Like President Trump, because when he wrote a check out to his lawyer, because the lawyer is the one that supposedly paid the fee to Stormy Daniels, and in the byline of the reason for the check was legal fees. That's what he wrote in there, legal fees. I don't know if y'all have ever seen a business deal when you have the book with the checks in it. There's not much room, even in a ledger. They don't give you much room to explain what the check is for. So saying you're paying legal fees to your lawyer who paid the fee out or the payment out for you, and you're paying it back in installment payments, and you can call it legal fees, and they still they didn't try, and they still convicted him of fraud. And anybody that don't think that was politically motivated, you need to really pay attention to the way, and like anybody who's ran a business knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's why all these people have businesses. You see, like even the big business, super rich people on there defending Trump, saying that they worry about that because what if a prosecutor or a judge don't like what they wrote in for the description of the reason for the payment out on this check, and they interpret it the way they want to interpret it. They all run the risk of having that same thing happen to them. Now that it's a president that I'm saying that right. I apologize. That now that it's been done, it can be done again and again and again. Unless, and we all, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure that those convictions are going to get turned over in appeals because they make no sense, on merit at all. They just don't. They don't hold water, and they were just wanting to be able to call him a felon during the campaign. That was the whole purpose of that. But right now today we're talking about Doge. So let me look at the U.S. debt clock real quick. So we have $106 billion, 106 billion, 105 million, and it keeps clicking, that Doge has saved us right now. $106+ billion. That's not chicken feed. That's a serious amount of money. But yet, when you hear the Democrats, they say, well, it's hardly a dent in any savings over the national budget. But if he keeps finding stuff like this, their goal, I think, was to try to find $1 trillion in savings within a year, because the Doge, he's only going to be running Doge temporarily. Not saying that Doge is going to go away, but Elon Musk offered up a year of his life and is taking no pay and is paying his crew of 6 out of his own pocket to help America get well, because America's sick right now. We're gonna have some. It's gonna be painful. A lot of stuff's gonna be painful before it gets better, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. Through 16 elections, President 64 years old, and can honestly say things are never getting better. America is on life support. I'm glad I'm old. Yeah, but Trudy, you have to admit, just in this last month, you've seen more effort out of an administration to improve U.S. citizens' lives. And a lot of stuff takes time. It's like they're already blaming President Trump for a high price in eggs, when it was Biden's administration that went in and made them kill all those millions of chickens, which created an egg shortage. And they're already saying that Trump broke that promise, that he promised to lower the price of eggs and bread on day one. No, he didn't. His promise was to sign executive orders that will go towards bringing the prices down on eggs and bread and stuff like that. I said it in my live stream. The Biden administration tried to do everything they could to leave Trump with a shit show so that he would have a harder time fulfilling the promises of his campaign. And that's all they were trying to do, is be able to say that he didn't fulfill what he promised. Well, he's fulfilled more promises in the first month than all the presidents in my lifetime. And I'm almost 60. So you got to give credit where credit is due. And some people are going to get a raw deal in this, because, not everybody's going to be happy. You can't please everybody. Some people are going to have, they're not going to be, something's going to affect their lives that's not going to be positive. But for the majority of the whole of the country, I believe that it will be positive. And, it's like all these government employees that are losing their jobs. I don't feel sorry for them one bit. And I tell you, 2 reasons why. One of the reasons why they said they opened up the southern border is because we had so many jobs that needed filled, and we had nobody to fill it because They said American youth was too lazy or too drugged up to work these jobs, or thought they were too good for the pay, because most of these jobs you have to go through a temp service first before you can actually get a job full time working for the actual factory. Because most jobs are factory jobs that they're talking about. So saying that, all these people in government that are losing their jobs, they can fill those positions. Problem solved. If we got all these open positions because we got no Americans that want to work, well, these people already have a job, so we know that, well, if you want to call what they do work, because a lot of them did it from home, and let's be honest, how many hours a week did they actually work their job and still get paid full pay? And they're going to get 8 months severance pay. So if they don't just sit on their ass when they lose their job and they go out and get another job, they'll get paid from that new job. See, they can start in a temp service. And a lot of temp services, a lot of factories, if you work like a 90-day probationary period, or some of them use up to 6 months, and you are a good worker and you got good attendance, the factory itself will hire you full time, and then your wages will go up and you'll be an employee of the actual factory and not the temp service. If they get out there and get a job right away, they can get paid from their severance pay, and they'll have a paycheck from the job that they're working. And if they are good workers, they can get off that probationary period before their 8 month severance pay is over with, so they can earn the most amount of money possible by the time their severance pay is completed. And reason two why I have no sympathy for them. Do you remember, I've said this before, when Hillary Clinton and President Trump was on campaign back in 2016, and Hillary said that in a town hall meeting in Pennsylvania that her goal was to close down every coal mine in the country. And they asked, well, what will the coal miners do for a job? She said, basically, she said, that's their problem. They need to learn a new trade. They need to learn how to program computers or something, but that's on them. But her goal was to close down every coal mine in the country and not give a shit about how them people was going to make a living. So I have no sympathy for these government employees losing their jobs, not one. They'll figure it out. And I seen one Democrat say, well, a lot of these government jobs are filled by veterans. So coal miners are veterans too. I guarantee a lot of them were. It don't matter whether you was in the military and then you got a civilian job. Sometimes you lose a job in civilian life. You can't prop them up just because they was in the military at one time. That's basically running a business with your heart and not with your brain. You can't do that. That's one of the problems with our government, is they keep saying they need to be better at spending our taxpayers' money or having a smaller government, but they're not willing to cut any programs. None. They're arguing about keeping just shit I just listed off. Why would you argue to keep that stuff? There's not one thing in there that benefits anybody in this damn country, except maybe a politician. So I don't want to be too crass, but they can kiss my ass. I have no sympathy for them. They keep saying, well, y'all are getting what you deserve. You voted for him. You're damn right. I'm getting exactly what I deserve, exactly what I asked for. This is what I wanted when I voted. When I put my little mark on there to vote President Trump in, that's exactly what I wanted, is what he's doing. So I am okay with all this. It's not a problem for me. And I don't think it's a problem for most people. You can see how small a number of these protests are. And I go back to my theory on that is, they had a couple Antifa people kind of spouted off way back when they were doing all these protests and riots about they were making $1,500 a month. And it was claimed to be come from George Soros, but I don't think so. I think it come from places like this department because the protests are small in number now. You know how large it used to be. So these people are getting $1,500 a month plus transportation plus hotels plus food. So they were professional protesters. That was their job. The BLM people, the same thing. They were getting paid to protest. So these protests back then were not organic. And now that the money's dried up, nobody wants to protest. And some people say, well, it's because the weather's too cold. Let me tell you something. If them people were getting paid, they'd be out in that weather. Believe you me, they would be out there in that weather if they were getting paid. But they're not getting paid, so I don't blame them. But that just proves that it was not an organic protest against the people in power, which at the time, President Trump. It was just another way to muck up his process to try to make America great again. They are fighting tooth and nail to keep from making America great again. Ain't that sad? That is downright sad. Yep, that's right, Cindy. That's what I'm saying. I'll tell you what, guys. Like I said, instead of making a video, I figured I'd make a quick live stream. And then anybody who hasn't got on here to watch this in live, they can watch the recording later on today. But I just wanted to put enough. I'm going to try to do updates every time we see something as far as what's significant savings that Elon Musk and them are finding and stopping the payments. So think about that. 106 billion, 105 million has been saved already. What's up, Rusty? Yeah, I mean, they had, you're right about the signs, Rusty. They had U-Haul box trucks pull up, and these people would almost stand in line and pile in there and go up, and they'd rotate in and out. Look like a bunch of worker ants going in. They'd go in the box truck to come out with a sign. And they'd come out with bottled water. And then you had the skids of bricks that were sitting in the same parking lot as these U-Haul trucks. Just out of the blue, skids of bricks sitting there. No construction going on around it, but there were skids of bricks sitting next to where the U-Haul trucks was that had the signs and the bottled water and stuff. Just saying. Thanks, Cindy. All right, guys. I'm going to jump off here. I got some stuff I got to do. If something else pops up that's important, I think I want to holler at you real quick about that. I don't think we'll wait till Sunday. I'll be popping back on here. So I apologize. I don't expect everybody to jump on every time I go live, but you'll be able to see the recorded portion later if you can't watch it live. So saying that, this is James, Empty Pockets Garage. This has also been live streamed on Rumble right now. So I have my Rumble channel up and running. I haven't had set a scheduled day of when I'm going to do Rumble. I may just stop doing the car channel on Sundays and just do Jimmy Pockets and the Rumble channel, which is Empty Pockets Garage Podcast. But I got to let all the people know that's on my car channel that watches me for political stuff to please subscribe to these other channels. Follow me on Rumble, Jimmy Pockets Garage Podcast, and then obviously Jimmy Pockets on YouTube. The notifications, I guess a lot of people, they'll do that where the bell will ring or whatever and get you notified. I guess, I don't know, it must be my content. A lot of people that's kicking that out and they're not being notified. I was told that you have to unsubscribe and resubscribe and then hit the notification bell to get it to stay in until they screw me over again. But that won't happen on Rumble. So if you follow me on Rumble, you're going to get notified. They will not, they don't play a bunch of games like YouTube does. So, because I won't, I'll try not to say nothing too offensive because I am still on YouTube. So even though I'm doing it on Rumble too, like on Saturday nights, it's only Rumble when I'm on there with Killer Carl, and Free for All Saturdays on Saturday nights, 7:30. We say what we want to say and how we want to say it. That's the best thing about Rumble. Yeah, you probably. My daughter is the one that set the podcast up. That's why she just set it up as that, because I was going to use the podcast for more than just political stuff. I was also going to do some live streaming on some car stuff on Rumble, and I'm just going to basically it's going to be overall entertainment on the Rumble channel. It's going to be mostly politics, but you can't consume your whole life with politics. We all have hobbies. Rusty, you like cars too, so and some of the ladies may not get into the car things, but I also was offering a Q&A. A lot of people have questions, and I've been a mechanic for 45 years now. Trucks, cars, and when I say trucks, I mean semis. I worked on everything from Model A's all the way up to your big rigs with the super condos on the back of it with the stretch wheelbase, containers, box trucks, everything. I've done a little bit of everything. So I was wanting to do Q&A for the automotive stuff. Even the ladies might be interested in asking some questions on that. We'll see. You never know where life takes you anymore. So saying that, I'm going to get off here. It's James, Empty Pockets Garage. Till next time, I'm out of here. Later, Rusty.